All right. Hey, what's going on? All right, day 4. Looking like Tuesday. Well, looks like all the days look about the same here. They all look like Canada. Or at least at the moment, they all look like. At first, it was like flat plains, very Montana-ish looking, and now those plains have turned into crazy, like rolling hills with like stubby little pine trees. So, anyways, so we started off this morning in Calgary, and that's in Alberta, Canada. So we managed to make it across Sweetgrass, made it up to Calgary. By the time we got to Calgary, it was storming. I mean, just crazy dark clouds and tons of rain. And if you're moving 70 miles an hour, there's too much rain to see anything without the windshield wipers being on their full blast. And even then, you're kind of guessing at the shapes. Thankfully, most of them were lit up. So we had to slow way down, creeping through town. And Gary was looking at stuff on his phone, and I was trying to like guide things through town. And he was like relaying directions to me through a walkie-talkie. And sure enough, we managed to get onto the McLeod Highway or McLeod Trail, and got off on this. Shoot, I forgot the name of the little drive, but it was super packed. Tons and tons of like little like apartments or like townhomes or something, car dealerships, all kinds of stuff. So we managed to pull into Calgary. So we got there last night, parked the cars in kind of a sketchy place, which, as it turns out, Nikki, Gary, and myself were going out at different points in time. So pretty much the cars were only unattended for maybe a few hours total the whole evening, because one of us were looking at it pretty much most of the hours. It was very interesting, and but it worked out pretty good. No problems there. Again, we wound up getting a late start, and it was raining. Even though it was raining a bunch last night, it was still raining some this morning. So and it was like continuous, just kept, like good constant rain. If you're like went out in it, your t-shirt would get wet in maybe 10 minutes time or so. So pretty good rain there. Got everything loaded up, got on the highway, and I this time, because I knew I was going to be leading, I made a better plan. My plan was basically to go get on this certain highway, figured out how to get on the highway from where we were at, get on the highway and just zip right up to Edmonton. So pretty much my only stops were if someone said, hey, the kids need to go pee, or we should take a break for the dogs, let them out of the car. And that was pretty much the only time we stopped. Otherwise, we really didn't eat anything for lunch. We just kind of kept blazing on through, just snacks and stuff for the car. So I'm hoping tomorrow we'll, if we can get out of here at 9, and here is British Columbia, so in a moment. If we can get out of here at 9, we'll have a lunch break and maybe dinner. But at the moment, we don't. All right, so we head up to Edmonton. By the time we got there, it was like, what time was it in Edmonton? It was like 2 o'clock? Yeah, it was like 2 o'clock. And at that point, from Edmonton to Dawson's Creek, where we're at right now, it was 6 hours. And 6 hours to us is usually 8. So we're thinking, all right, we'll get into Dawson's Creek about 10. So we're like, all right. So we managed to get everything put together, got on the road, kept on going, and still didn't stop for any food, which probably should have, but we just kept going and going and going. And we stopped probably about 3 hours later. We found some places for gas, and the thing that kept freaking me out was I'd see a sign on the side of the road that would say, gas, food, blah blah blah, stuff like that, like the little blue signs that tell you what's on the turn, the side of the road turn. Well, they weren't on the right side of the road, or when it was on the side of the road, I don't know if it was or not, because as you're driving up to it, normally you can look over to the right and see, the gas station or see the restaurant, whatever, within, I don't know, quarter mile, something like that. There's 1 or 2 exits that had all the little signs that said right turn, and there was no city there. And I was like, does it mean right turn and then 3 kilometers? Or does it mean right turn and eventually you're going to find a city? Or how do you get back on? Because I did that yesterday. I got off the highway, and then when I went to turn back to get on the highway, I had to go down and turn around to get back on the highway. And these are 5 vehicles. The smallest is a single Dodge Durango. The next smallest is my 26-foot long U-Haul truck. And then we have 2 Dodge trucks, both carrying car haulers. And on the car haulers are, nice fancy cars. And then Gary's big U-Haul with a trailer on the back of it. So we have all these machines, and that's what we're trying to get on these highways. So 5 of us make quite the trail on the roads. But for the most part, everything was rolling along just fine. We made really good time and just zipped right along. And turns out our initial estimate, like that was going to be 6 hours, with that being maybe 8.5, turned out to be closer to like 10, because here it is. What is it, midnight or so? No, it's midnight. No, it's midnight here in British Columbia, which means it's 1 o'clock where we just came from. Because as soon as we crossed the border into British Columbia to get to Dawson's Creek, which isn't very far across the border, and Dawson's Creek is also mile 0. What should you call it? Milo? Yeah, mile O, or mile 0, or Milo. Yeah, so mile 0 is right here in Dawson's Creek. So I'm hoping tomorrow to be able to go out and find the sign or something that says, mile 0, Canada-Alaska Highway. And if I can, I'm going to try to take a picture or 2 or 3 of that. But yeah, that's tomorrow. But yeah, right now, here we are, British Columbia, and we're safe and sound and tired, and we made probably the best chunk of mileage that we have yet. And the funny thing is, here it is 4 days into it, and we're about halfway. So of the 60-hour trek that we have, well, we probably got another 30 of it left. So if we can get all that done in 3 more days, great. But the Alcan Highway, I've heard that can be a bit of a trick. So hopefully they're not planning on doing too many crazy days. If we can get out here tomorrow at 9 o'clock and do the 7 hours that we're hoping to do, if we do those 7 hours in 10, hey, that'd be all right, because if we can get into the next stop, which is Toad Creek, something like that. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. Toad something. Toad Creek. Toad Sprocket. That's something else. All right. Well, shoot. Like I said, it's midnight, or creeping up on 1 o'clock. I'm gonna hit the sack, but I just wanted to make sure to record a little bit of this and kind of keep it all up to date. All right. Got the fine bed there. I'm gonna crash into that, and I think I'm not setting my alarm till 7 or 8 tomorrow. Even though they said they had a good breakfast and it starts at 5. I don't think I'm going to be up at 5. And if I am up at 5, something's wrong, because I have all day to drive and I want to get some rest. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye.